Joe's Crab Shack. We're 34 years in, and while Joe's Crab Shack is hanging in there, all records of who Joe is have been wiped clean from the internet. When I die, please do the same with my browser history. I don't need any of you knowing which Pokemon I find the sexiest.
Sneasel.
Shut up, inner monologue. So with no Joe, let's focus on the crab stuff. No other chain restaurant would even dream to sell a shirt that says, "No worries, I've got crabs." But Joe's Crab Shack isn't just any chain. They've embraced and rallied around everyone's favorite crustacean, just as Bubba Gump has with shrimp and Red Lobster has with too much butter. Famous for their buckets of crabs and dancing servers, Joe's Crab Shack has a reputation for being a lighthearted delight for fans of seafood. But it's not all been smooth sailing for the brand. From drunk toddlers to unfathomably inappropriate choices for restaurant decor, Joe's has seen its fair share of controversies. This week on the show, I'll use my seafood pick to rummage around in those tender claws of knowledge and scrape the meat directly into your crab bucket of curiosity so that you too can become as well educated about Joe's Crab Shack as I am. Then we'll turn our attention to Yelp to see what others think of the Disneyland adjacent Joe's Crab Shack we visited. Stay tuned. This is the Fine Dining Podcast.
Your table is ready. Take a seat. The flavor of the day is mediocrity. Wouldn't you like to try a bite? Guarantee it'll be the perfect bite. Fine dining. Better than you thought, worse than you hoped. Fine dining. We don't treat mediocre as a joke. Ranking every single place we've been. Looking for the perfect 5 out of 10.
Okay, I heard drunk toddlers and sexy Pokemon.
Yeah, what else do you need to know?
I skipped over all of the Joe's content and I focused in on, I was like, I really want to know what your sexiest Pokemon choice is.
Hello, and welcome to the Fine Dining Podcast, the search for the most mediocre restaurant in America. I am your host, Michael Ornelas, and this is the show where I dive deep into the history of our favorite chain restaurants before reviewing them. In this week's episode of the show, we're going to sail the seas of Joe's Crab Shack history, and my first mate is a close personal friend I met while working at Paramount Studios. You've heard her all over the show in its various iterations, as she's lent her voice to many of the segment transition bumpers. She's also faced the wrath of Juicy Jr. in the season 1 finale, TGI Friday the 13th. She consistently makes me laugh and is also a board game enthusiast. It's Sandy Rose.
I love that intro. Thank you so much.
How's it going?
It's good. Having a good chill day.
We're how many days removed from our meal at Joe's? Like 3 or 4?
It was Tuesday. It was a Tuesday.
I often do these right after I eat. And I did just eat. I've been apologizing for burping up garlic this whole time, but at least I don't feel the heaviness of like a podcast meal.
Oh, yeah. We were comaed out after that meal.
Yeah. We had like IV drips and all that.
Yeah.
So our review of going to Joe's, that'll be next week. This week is the history of Joe's Crab Shack, as well as picking up some Yelp reviews and then hearing what you would do if you made a restaurant. Do you have any personal history with Joe's Crab Shack, or is this your first time there?
I was definitely familiar with it. I think that I had gone, in my childhood with my family for a lovely dining experience.
Yeah.
I already felt pretty positively about Joe's going in.
Okay. Yeah, and it is a Texas-based company, and you and I both spent a substantial amount of our lives in Texas. So I wonder if that played into its what I assumed was even more prominence than it ultimately did have.
It must have. Yeah, it seemed like a very just normal restaurant to go to.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that people outside of Texas, or maybe, I don't know, just in another place would not have that same experience of it.
Yeah, like my sphere of awareness has kind of always had Joe's Crab Shack in it.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
But this was my first time eating there.
Really?
So, yeah.
Oh, I don't think we talked about that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I never, because seafood is kind of a newer thing for me.
Oh, why? What?
I grew up a very picky eater. It's interesting. I had like an internet quiz diagnose me as on the spectrum. It wasn't like cosmopolitan. It ended in .edu or something like that. So it was like, I assume, trusted. And when I look at like my patterns of behavior, like being a picky eater and kind of the difficulty of like changing my ways on certain things and just the mental blocks that I realize I have with that, to social things where like eye contact is a very trained thing for me. I'm like counting in my head.
You're
okay,
doing great.
Thank you. but yeah, I mean, like it's one of those things where it might be silly to say, but like my bravery to try new foods. One, it really has to be on my own terms. Two, I've realized I need to see stuff made. I need to know everything that goes into it, or at least read an ingredients list to be like, oh, I like all those things, so I guess I'll like this. Like hummus. I didn't try hummus for the first time until maybe a couple years back.
Because you didn't know what it was. Because
it's just like, it's a goop.
And you didn't know what's going on in it. Yeah.
Didn't know, but I love hummus now. So seafood, I went to Japan from like New Year's 2018 into 2019 and made a rule for myself of I will eat anything that I encounter on this trip. My one hard line no was octopus. I don't want to eat octopus.
Oh, you might be missing out. I don't know, but you might be.
I think they're too smart for me to feel like ethically good about eating them.
They are really smart.
Yeah. Like it's just like they're too intelligent.
I've also heard that pigs are intelligent, though. And
not fielding this.
Definitely be eating some bacon.
Yeah. But all that said, I love seafood now, specifically like lobster, crab, shrimp, fish. I'm still kind of like, I like sushi, but even then only certain types. So I'm a little bit pickier with fish, but I no longer oppose seafood in general.
Aw.
So
I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
Yay.
Yeah. So all that to say, Joe's Crab Shack wasn't even a place I would have considered going until the time where they were already becoming less prevalent.
Okay. Well, it's good that you like seafood because we ate a shit ton of it.
We ate a shit ton of it. So anyways, that's my history and your history with Joe's Crab Shack. Do you want to hear the history of Joe's Crab Shack?
Please.
All right. We're going to jump into this week's Eat Deets.
Eatery details.
The year was 1991. Presumably, a person with a dream and some startup cash opened the first Joe's Crab Shack in Houston, Texas, but there is no record of who started the place. Was it Joe? Who is Joe? What are you hiding, Joe's Crab Shack? Why have you scrubbed the internet of any information about your founding?
That's really sus.
Like, even the About Us section on the Joe's Crab Shack website, it has a header labeled The Story of Joe's, which says simply, Joe's Crab Shack offers a variety of favorites from all parts of the sea and shore.
What do they not want to tell us?
Like, they don't tell us the story. There is no Joe that I could find when I was looking around on Google. I took it to ChatGPT and I was like, hey, what do you know about the founding of Joe's Crab Shack?
Smart.
And it turned up this guy named Ray Sherr. Sherr. And then I would Google Ray Sherr Joe's Crab Shack and literally nothing would pop up.
Blank screen?
yeah. It wouldn't even say no results. Google broke. There's some deeper conspiracy here. But like, then I would ask ChatGPT, hey, is this guy actually part of it? And they were like, oh, I guess not. Thank you for correcting me. And I'd be like, wait, is he a part of it? Just tell me, what is your source where you even found this name? And it was like, oh, I must have generated it accidentally. And then I was like, so what's their story? And then it would bring him up again. But the internet has no record of Ray Sherr or the founding of Joe's or who Joe is.
This has like mafia vibes.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. Concerning.
Like, just the fact of like, where did you pull this from?
I know. And then to apologize for it.
And then to apologize. And I was like, all right, go away.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It was weird. Okay, whatever. So just 3 years into operating, in 1994, the Landry's brand purchased the first Joe's Crab Shack and converted it to a Landry's restaurant.
Landry's really hits for me. I think, is that another Texas thing?
I've never had Landry's. I've been to places that are Landry's brand owned.
That's what I mean.
But I've never been to a Landry's restaurant. And there are Landry's restaurants.
Are?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just familiar with the umbrella.
Okay.
The Landry's.
Like Darden
household
owning
name.
Olive Garden and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, there is like straight up a Landry's restaurant.
Oh. No, never been there.
And so the first Joe's Crab Shack got converted into one, but it was just that location. They didn't buy the Joe's Crab Shack company. And then by the following year, Joe's had expanded to 3 restaurants in Houston and 1 in Dallas. And despite the 1994 sale, the brand continued to grow throughout the late 90s and into the early part of the 21st century.
Seafood boom in Texas.
Seafood boom in Texas, I suppose. I mean, it was the 90s. We were unstoppable. We could do anything, you know?
Anything.
Yeah. According to Wikipedia, by 2006, there were 130 Joe's Crab Shack locations when they were acquired by a privately held company that eventually became Ignite Restaurant Group. The sale was for $192 million, and they purchased the brand despite acquiring $225 million in liabilities. So, yeah, I find it interesting. Like, they did grow plenty on their own. Then they, you know, cashed out, as often happens. And the guy was like, scrub me from all databases.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder when the scrubbing happened. Like, was it initially he was like, I'm going to start this, but I want nothing to do with it?
Like, if I was more of like an actual investigative journalist, I would like look into like who held the deed for the first like the transition and be like, who is this?
Yes.
Is Ray sure a guy? Like
an angel investor, is there a term for like a ghost owner of a restaurant?
Yeah, I don't
know.
Like
a ghost writer type of a
thing?
Yeah,
ghost
restaurateur.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. So it's peculiar to me. And once they sell to Ignite, it's like, okay, that's kind of the route that a lot of these big chain restaurants have gone. They sell to some sort of company. But the company they sold to that became Ignite actually changed its name to JCS something, which stood for Joe's Crab Shack.
Oh.
So I think it was like an equity firm specifically interested in owning Joe's Crab Shack.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe it was the best of the Landry's.
Well, it wasn't Landry's.
Ignite, right?
Landry's just bought the one location.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm getting caught up on Landry's. I need to Google that later.
No. Your suspicions are correct.
Okay.
We will get to Landry's again. We will get to Landry's again. And then in 2012, Ignite Restaurant Group went public, as a lot of those companies do.
Smart.
One thing we didn't experience, but is very much a part of Joe's Crab Shack's past, at least, and in some locations they're present, the staff dances.
We did not experience that. We went during lunch, though.
We went during lunch on a weekday.
Yeah.
Which is not, you know, I think usually weekends and like maybe busier weeknights you'll get it. But like, you know, Texas Roadhouse.
Dancing.
There's dancing. The staff, they dance to entertain patrons. They've held dance-off competitions amongst themselves. So,
what an incredible time to be a server.
And I did find some Yelp reviews complaining that they no longer do the crab dance for your birthday. So make of that what you will.
Okay, I want to see a crab dance. Well, I want to see the crab dance, and I would like to see a crab dance.
Both those things are, yeah. I have 2 dreams. One is to go to Joe's Crab Shack and see the waiters
do the crab dance.
But also
would like to see a crab do a dance.
Put on your scuba suit. Let's get going. Okay. Yeah. Joe's also has a colorful taste in their marketing choices. Tie-dye shirts with peace, love, and crabs were a big part of their offerings. And then the slightly more crass Got Crabs merch hit the stands.
I was looking at a shirt being like, should I get that? Is that a good fashion choice for me? I really liked the tie-dye.
I did too.
Rainbow.
And like, I am not a guy. Like, I think tie-dye is like the hackiest of clothing choices. And yet it felt like it fit for this brand in a way to where I did end up buying one of the Don't Worry, I've Got Crabs tie-dye shirts.
Right.
Because you kind of gotta.
It's sex positive, too.
Yeah.
Always get tested.
Always get tested at Joe's Crab Shack.
Be a responsible lover.
Yeah. But like, I liked their offerings well enough. They had like stuffed animal sharks for kids and stuff like that. They had... also for kids that I totally would have just gotten for myself. They had, you know, those plates that have the slots in them for...
Yes.
For like to
peas
separate your...
Yeah.
They had one of those that was just a giant crab. It was like a big bright red crab, but it was a slotted plate. Like cartoony crab.
Yeah.
I liked it. It was kind of adorable. They had some, you know, cool looking hats.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if it was extra merchy because it was next to Disneyland, or if all of them are that entrepreneurial in their
I think that they are probably all like that because there are certain restaurants I go to where it's just like, oh, this chain regularly just has its merch.
Mm-hmm.
And
it was just such a big
like all
area to buy stuff.
All the Hooters I've been to have like Hooters, like
oh well,
yeah,
I stand corrected.
Hooters shirts, Dick's Last Resort, but I mean again that was in Vegas, so it's like. But I think some of these more kitschy chains all have their merch.
Mm-hmm.
Rainforest Cafe straight up has a store.
Ooh, do they sell dinosaur figurines?
Yeah,
of course.
Good. Notorious part of rainforests.
Right.
Dinosaurs. Yeah. All right. And now for the scandals. In 2014, a Joe's Crab Shack in Colorado Springs came under fire for serving alcohol to a toddler. A family with a 2-year-old and an 8-year-old ordered a fruity drink called Shark Nibbles, a blue mocktail with grenadine and a plastic shark toy swimming inside the beverage for their children. However, there was a mix-up, and the younger one was accidentally served Shark Bites.
Oh, shit.
You can understand the naming convention, Nibbles and Bites, which is the same drink but with vodka, rum, and curacao.
Oh, no.
The child had completely finished off the drink before the staff realized.
The child liked it? I feel like a child would be like, this is gross when they taste alcohol.
2 years old, They're
like, whatever.
You're not very discerning.
I drink it.
Yeah.
That would be like, I used to, as a kid, at this one restaurant, always order a Shirley Temple as a fun thing. She'll get the Shirley Temple. And it was, of course, obviously not.
Shirley Temple is just a delightful drink.
So good. Grenadine, hell yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I don't drink alcohol, but like even
Same.
as an adult, I will happily be like, yeah, give me a Shirley Temple.
Right. It's sugar.
Yeah.
So I can imagine just one sleepy worker back there being like, they got a bite or nibble. I don't know. And just putting alcohol in it accidentally.
And the Shark Bites is supposed to be served in a glass while Shark Nibbles is supposed to come in a plastic cup to like differentiate.
Yeah.
So that when the server picks it up, they know.
Did the little 2-year-old get a glass?
I think so.
Cup?
I think so. So paramedics were called, and while no charges were filed, the server responsible for the mix-up did lose their job. The toddler was reportedly fine, but did have to Uber home and come back for their car the next day.
Nice. You nailed that.
That same year, Joe's found themselves in hot water for misrepresenting their use of trans fats in their foods. According to MASH.com, the Center for Science in the Public Interest reported that the chain was using extremely high quantities of trans fats in their foods, despite claiming they used none.
Oh, good.
That's a bad ratio of difference. So dishonest practices like this just rob consumers of the ability to make informed decisions about what they're consuming. And not only did these products contain trans fats, but some dishes even had as much as a week's worth of trans fats in one meal.
Delicious, though.
That is my first thought, though. It's like, God, I bet it's good, though. Yeah, like that. You can't do that.
No. Literally and legally, probably, and ethically, certainly.
Like, yeah, once we know better about like the effects something has on the body, yeah, I don't know. We're being slowly poisoned by our food.
1,000,000%.
So
yes.
when we know of a poison, maybe let's cut back on that poison.
Yeah, and just tell people what they're eating.
Yeah, let them make their decisions. Don't rob them of the autonomy.
This was the 90s, though,
No,
right?
this is 2014.
Oh, he said that. I missed
Yeah.
it. It was 2014, though.
It was
a
11
different
years
world.
ago. Yeah, it was a different time. Honesty didn't matter in 2014. That's a new thing.
Does it still? Ever?
We'll find out.
All right.
In 2015, Joe's Crab Shack adopted a no tipping policy at 18 of their locations, where they raised the price of their offerings but didn't allow for their servers to earn gratuities. And while in theory, this can be great, the company only raised prices 12 to 15%, which, if you've ever worked in customer service, is considered a lowball of a tip. As a result, servers were demotivated and the service experience suffered overall.
They removed the...
They were basically like, we'll compensate our servers more.
Oh, but not enough that a tip
But not
would have
enough that
compensated
the new money they were making in covers what they would have been making with tips.
That's pretty shitty.
Yeah. So, yeah, according to federal law, restaurants can exploit the service staff by paying as little as $2.13 an hour, which makes tipping absolutely crucial for servers to at least break even, let alone profit above minimum wage.
I want everyone to hear that who goes to restaurants and doesn't tip.
Yeah. And certain states, that's not the case.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think in California, they have to pay you the actual minimum wage. I don't think they're allowed to pay under, but I know like in Texas, it's straight up just like, and even if you're like a
Free
host
for
or a
all.
hostess, you're not serving and you're still making that because they have to like tip you in.
Yeah.
But you don't get the same like cut.
Mm-hmm. I've definitely heard horror stories from like friends who are servers and just getting lowballed like
No,
that.
it's miserable.
Yeah.
It's just such an exploitative system.
Yes.
So like, don't open a restaurant if you can't pay the wages that,
Yeah.
or any business. Pay the people that do the work that you need them to do for your business to succeed. So stiffing on a tip can even cost servers money. The psychology of higher menu prices also led to customers ordering less food as the higher prices scared them off, even though they would roughly be spending the same amount as before in a tipped environment. We've just been conditioned to save money for the end for that tip.
Yeah.
The policy was scrapped a year later in 2016.
Still have high prices, I will say.
Yeah. That I do think might be the Disneyland adjacency of it.
Okay, got it.
Because it's just that area is very
And
touristy.
mm-hmm.
When the amount of hotels that you see around you is many, your prices are probably going to be a bit higher.
Again, smart.
Yeah. 2016 was an even worse year for Joe's, as one location had a racially insensitive piece of decor on display in their restaurant. A Minneapolis Joe's Crab Shack generated headlines for a picture of a black man surrounded by a white mob at a lynching with the caption, "All I said was that I didn't like the gumbo."
No.
Yep.
What?
Yep.
That's not even a little funny. That's so not a good look.
The one, not slack that I'll cut them, but like if it was just this location, it does seem like someone was decorating the one restaurant that maybe wasn't from corporate. They kind of took matters into their own hands. I can't imagine that this was like, yeah, this one picture went out to all Joe's Crab Shacks as part of like a more uniform decor. But for that one, that's bad.
Did that person get fired?
I couldn't find a follow-up on that. 2 patrons noticed and filed a complaint, which earned them an apology from the manager, but no further action was taken to rectify it.
What?
I assume they eventually took it down. I couldn't find confirmation, but at least in the immediacy of like, hey, that's there. I don't think they immediately took it down. I would have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez.
The company as a whole later issued an apology and, like I said, I assume took it down. Further research turned up that the photo was from a very real lynching that occurred in 1896.
No.
So it wasn't even staged. Like it wasn't like, hey, we thought of this joke and like someone...
Here's a digital rendering or something. Right.
So that I think makes it worse. It's like literally...
Yeah, using...
a person about to lose their life and using it to make a joke.
Make a joke, yeah.
Not great.
Nope.
In 2017, Ignite Restaurant Group filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy after multiple potential buyers backed out.
Oh. What year? Remind me?
2017. So this is a
I'm
year
caught up.
after the race incident, 2 years after the trans fats and no tipping attempts, 2 or 3 years after the drunk toddler. So it was kind of like, a landfall of bad press.
Calamity.
I don't know if that leads to bankruptcy for them, but I'm sure it didn't help.
Sure doesn't help, yeah.
But are you ready for this?
I don't know.
Eventually, Landry's, who, if you'll remember, purchased the original location, was there to pick up the pieces for a mere $52 million, acquiring 112 Joe's Crab Shack restaurants and 25 Brick House Tavern and Tap locations.
Oh.
They are the current owner, and after getting rocked hard by the COVID-19 pandemic, Joe's is down to just 20 locations.
From what? How many before?
112 is what they got it for.
Oh, wow.
In 2017.
So rocked.
They've lost 100 restaurants in 8 years.
That is so bizarre. I'm like, is that because like,
I think chain restaurant dining is also down
okay,
in general.
it wasn't like seafood was connected to COVID or, people were like, we're inside. We don't want to eat seafood anymore.
Well, I'm sure. I mean, you saw how messy of a meal. There's a lot of like touching going on with like messy hands.
That's a great point.
So maybe subconsciously people are like, I don't want to go on a place where I like suck my fingers while I'm eating.
I want to suck my fingers at home instead.
Yeah, I'm going to suck my fingers at home. But like, I don't know. I mean, like the big like health conscious thing for me that has triggered from the pandemic is I am way more wary about like, I used to love going bowling and then you go to the bar there and you order chicken fingers. And I'm just like, you think about like the mystery holes that you're putting your fingers into to bowl and then you're eating chicken fingers. And I'm like,
I want to put my fingers in mystery holes at home.
Looking at that camera. And
I want to put my...
I want to put my mystery fingers into mystery holes.
At my mystery house.
Okay, Dr. Seuss. But yeah, it really feels like Landry's was trying to shoot its shot once more with the one that got away.
Yeah.
Like Landry's coming back.
Aw. To an ex.
Yeah. It's like, oh, remember we hooked up that one time?
Yeah. We watched, our favorite movies together.
Yeah.
It was a good time.
Yeah. And then it's like, I know we're 25 years aged now, but like, oh no, let's give it a real shot.
Yeah. We've learned things.
We can do this. We're more mature.
Start over.
Yeah.
Chemistry's still
I like
there.
how I'm just conveying Landry's as a fuckboy.
It definitely is.
And that'll do it for this week's Eat Deets. Sandy, I hope you were paying attention to all of that to help you navigate of what pitfalls to avoid in your own culinary experience creation, because the next few minutes are all about you and what you think needs to be seen in the world of themed chain restaurants. So, in the style of Creed, make up the second line of this intro song for this segment. This is the restaurant of your dreams.
Come here to eat but not be seen.
Joe's Crab Shack, no, this is your thing. This is the restaurant of your dreams. Excellent. Sandy, tell me about a restaurant concept that, shut up.
I feel good about that.
That you've envisioned that only you could turn into a reality. It must be practical, delicious, and memorable. 3, 2, 1, go.
I actually think this is a viable option for a restaurant.
They all say that.
And if anyone buys this, I want half ownership, whatever it is.
Sharks?
Yeah. Sharks, today I present to you my idea for a chain. It's called Holidays.
Okay.
Every major holiday, even the minor holidays, the menu changes, the decor changes, the servers wear different things, the music changes.
I thought you were going to say the servers like change out. Turnover there is nuts.
Yeah, you get fired immediately. It essentially just kind of flows with the calendar. It makes it very easy for if you are like, where should we be going for this one holiday that we're celebrating? Go to Holidays.
Okay. And it really digs into those, like to each holiday, it does it to the max, to the best of its ability.
Yeah, like if it's Arbor Day, okay, they're gonna have like,
we're eating vegan. It's all trees.
Just trees. The menu's like, what's a pun? Like maple, right? They're gonna have like maple elements, or the wine is oaky or something.
Pine nuts.
Exactly.
Pineapple.
Or that Little Debbie tree cake. Right. Just like random stuff.
Yeah.
But, you can see for the bigger commercialized holidays how it would be like a very attractive place to go.
I love how your number one pull for the holiday that would represent holidays was Arbor Day.
Arbor Day.
It's not about the Halloween spectacular. It's not about their take on Thanksgiving.
Well, I'm trying to clarify that many people do think about just like October to February as the big holidays.
Yeah.
But the rest of the year, there is shit to do.
Yeah.
And you do fill it. And it can also create holiday awareness for the smaller ones.
Sure.
It's a very important thing.
Yeah. Now, I do think that like a full restaurant redesign for like, oh God, there's another holiday in 1 week.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would almost be stressful and maybe not worth the overhead of like you kind of have to close down while you redecorate, and you're doing that, 30, 40, 50 times a year.
It actually makes me think, though, of it opens up jobs because it makes me think of the scene in Elf where he stays overnight to decorate the North Pole.
But I don't know if it's making money. Sure,
Are you calling Elf an it?
No, the restaurant.
Oh.
I don't know if the restaurant's generating enough money to do those like over. Look,
I think it would.
I have one major compliment to this idea. I am a collector. I play Pokemon Go and it's like, gotta catch them all. I want to experience all of the holidays at holidays. So
there's a punch card.
Yeah. So the notion of like, I've done 18 of the 40 different holidays that they do things for. And then I do think, obviously, shouldn't just be on the day, but like, for the week or something, maybe 2 weeks. Maybe do a 2-week cycle for each holiday or whatever. So it's like,
or like
26
Christmas,
redesigns a year.
Christmas is a month, Halloween's a month, but like the little ones, it's like weekly type of thing. Yeah. You're right.
But I think my curiosity, especially if you can generate killer menus, pitch me what's your Christmas meal at holidays, and don't make it just something I can get at home. I need a fresh take on a new thing.
Do you? I disagree. I think that the pull is that it's very classic, traditional entree selections, but I think that it would be important to have like a multicultural component to it. Again, with the learning aspect of it, like I didn't know this about the Swedish tradition of Christmas, like they celebrate it this way. There's a bûche de Noël, just different elements of Christmas that make it feel like, oh yeah, this is the holiday that Christmas is.
Sure.
So different rich meats and desserts and puddings.
I still I want similar to, we'll go into it next week, but similar to the campfire s'mores dessert where it's like their own unique take on an idea of s'mores or something like that. Like what is the holidays equivalent of like a hot cocoa turned into a cake or a pie or something? I want to see something like that where it's Christmas themed, Christmassy, but it's still y'all's unique innovation. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I'll have to think on it.
No. I need it right now.
I don't know. I am thinking like maybe there can also be sponsors and partnerships and collabs and like different brands come in and they bring their own version of things.
Yeah, I do wonder if like big International Girlfriends Day is going to like try and get together and be like, hey, we want real estate. We want one of your 2-week slots for this year. We want it to be designated to this. So I can see almost like the board behind, the shadowy figures behind all the holidays that we celebrate.
Standing like this.
Yeah.
Well, that is a problem because there are there's a website that's like, what's the national holiday today? And there's like maybe like 5 every single day of the year. So obviously there needs to be limits. And this would involve like, what's it called when you get in a boardroom and you're like testing something? Market research. Yeah, that thing. I'm clearly going to be set up well to own a restaurant.
It's okay. There were birds spinning around my head like I got knocked out in a Looney Tune when you asked me that.
So you'd research it and see what works best. I think that it would have to spark nostalgia and it would be delicious. And since it's a chain, I don't know about quality, but I think that...
I love that of like, look, I'm not saying it's going to be good, but it's going to do the thing it says it's going to do.
Yeah, you get to go celebrate a holiday. It's
consistently mediocre.
Yeah, it's more about the aesthetic and the decor and just the vibe.
I like the notion that like maybe it's not the same holiday each year. So, let's say International Girlfriends Day or whatever. They get 2 weeks one year. The next year, like International Donut Day is like, we want this one.
Totally.
And then you're just oops all donuts for 2 weeks.
And that's also where the restaurant gets enough funding to support the employees who are tasked with redecorating constantly.
Okay. Buffet style, or is it all served from the back like traditional?
Served from the back.
Okay. I'm into it. I would eat at holidays multiple times.
Me too.
And I will say, maybe more than any of the other restaurants pitched, that one does have the best return factor for me.
Oh, yeah. Because you want to keep going back.
I want to keep
see
going
what's next.
Back. Yeah. So, well, thank you for going over all of that with me, Sandy. I now have a better insight into what you dream about. One more time, that theme song. Sing it with me. Just the line. This is a restaurant. Yeah, just that part.
Got it.
This is the restaurant of your dreams. That's just that.
I was going to keep going.
I know. I noticed. I was there. All right, now let's bring things back to reality and see what other people think of the Joe's Crab Shack that we went to in this week's Yelp from Strangers.
We need a little Yelp, a little Yelp from strangers. A 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, 4 or 5. So get a little Yelp, a little Yelp from strangers. A little Yelp. Give us those complaints while you literally whine and die. Yelp!
This is Yelp from Strangers, the segment where we turn to Yelp and read out our favorite 1, 2,
3,
4, and 5-star Yelp reviews from the very restaurant that we went to. Sandy, do you mind if I start us off with the first one?
Yeah, please.
All right.
Excited.
2-star review.
So this is a 2-star review from Michelle S. from Waianae, Hawaii, June 5th, 2018.
After all of the 2016 drama.
After, she was still loyal.
Wow.
My visit was very depressing.
Oh.
Our server, Jason, was not a perfect fit for Joe's at all.
Oh my God.
Every time we've dined at this location, we've always been surrounded by lovely, fun, and energetic staff.
High expectations going in.
Not tonight.
Oh, you poor Jason.
From the get-go, when we asked if they still dance for their guests, he said, no, not every night. WTH.
Oh, what the heck?
So we asked another staff member and requested them to dance, and they did.
Entitled biatch.
This is when you become the problem.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. Those who participated looked like they were all training and didn't know the train song.
The train song? Train?
Like Choo Choo.
The band? Oh, okay.
Actually, you know what? I don't know.
Drops of Jupiter?
You don't know Drops of Jupiter? Why aren't you line dancing perfectly to
Line
Drops of
dancing.
Jupiter? But I like this. -1 star there. So she's ticking away from 5.
Oh, yeah.
This is like that person who puts cash out on the table and takes away the tip as service goes on.
Oh, do people do that?
At least a person has, because I've heard of it before.
That's wild.
That's wild. Next, we ordered our steam pots with extra butter garlic. I think garlic butter is what they meant. And it came only steamed, minus another star there. Okay.
Jeez.
Then at the end of the meal, he asks if we'd like dessert. And we replied, yes, the ones that come with the kids' meal. And he tells me that they don't that. I'd have to buy it. No, your menu clearly states that they come with ice cream. So I asked to get a menu so I can point it out to him. And he rolls his eyes at me and mumbles, oh my God, under his breath. But God was spelled G-A-W-D. So it's like a South Park, like,
God.
oh my God. Okay, now he's lucky I didn't request for a manager at that point.
Jeez.
I bit my tongue and took care of the issue with his tip, if you know what I mean.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Anyway, he was proven wrong that the kids' meals do come with ice cream. He was very rude, and it made the closing of our night and bill very uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure if we'll be making it back to this location.
Not sure? Like, she's like, I'll give it another try.
Yeah. But they need to know Drops of Jupiter.
Right. This is a person who delights in giving bad reviews.
I think so.
Mm-hmm. That's the vibe.
Or if it's not exactly to their liking.
Right.
Which is upset. Like, chill.
Yeah.
Don't ask them to dance for you. They're servers.
Yes.
That's so weird. Our server didn't know, so we stopped someone else and said dance.
Yes.
Like, that's crazy.
That's very entitled.
That's a crazy behavior.
Yes. I have no other way to describe it.
Yeah.
Also, calling the server rude, that feels like a projection of her being a rude person.
Yeah.
I don't like that at all.
4-star review.
Okay, here's a 4-star review from Mike C. on February 18th, 2023. More recent, post-COVID.
Yep.
Really cool people and servers. No complaints with the food. Everything was great, except for a stupid little thing.
Uh-oh.
They have a surfboard hanging on the wall at the far left end of the restaurant. It has a mural painted on it that is supposed to be a wave with the planets above it. It is hung upside down and sent my OCD into complete chaos. Can yo turn it the right way? He said, yo. Don't get me wrong, but I can't look at that again and actually enjoy my dinner. LOL. But I'm totally serious. Once again, everything else was awesome.
I love kind of that neuroses of just like, look, I know this is me, but let me tell you my experience.
I like this person.
Yeah.
He's laughing at himself.
He's laughing at himself. But I do find that very funny of just like.
That's relatable. Like, I can't stop thinking about this thing over here.
Yeah.
I've lost my appetite.
I've lost my appetite and my sanity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's making me mention my mental health diagnosis. That's how bad it is.
On a public forum.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy those 2 Yelp reviews? You can get 3 more over at my Patreon. That's patreon.com/fine dining podcast. And for just $5 a month, you can get the extended Yelp from Strangers segment, as well as an exclusive restaurant that I cover each and every month, dropping on the last day of the month. In January, I covered Dan's Hamburgers, which is literally my favorite burger in the world. It's this little diner in Austin, Texas, and you get to hear me gush about it. February, I covered Jersey Mike's, a sandwich place that I didn't have a lot of respect for going in, and they have made me respect them. I actually think Jersey Mike's is very good now. And for March, I covered Blaze Pizza, which, if you've never had, is one of those assembly line style pizza places with a wood-fired oven in back, and it's actually very good. So you can find all of that at my Patreon and more. Hope to see you there. Thank you. That's part 1. Tune in next week as we review this Joe's Crab Shack. We ate there a few days back and it made an impression on us. So next week we'll go into everything that was good about it, everything that was not good about it, and all the other details that were just there. That'll be in 1 week's time. In the meantime, Sandy, where can people get more of you online? If you even want them to follow you online.
Well, I'm mostly private on social media, but if you want to slide into my DMs and be friends with me, that'd be good. But
casting call.
I'm available
for friends. And you can follow the podcast on Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky at Fine Dining Podcast or finediningpodcast.bluesky.app, whatever
no
it is.
idea.
Whatever it is. I don't know. But also I have a Discord server, so come chat with me.
Oh, yeah.
There's a bunch of different fun threads that some of them bring back old segments of the show. And I want to put some of them into the podcast proper. So it's a good outlet to go tell your stories and just engage with a really fun community that all loves to eat.
Yum.
So Sandy, thanks so much for coming onto the podcast.
Thank you.
You'll be back in 1 week to help me review the place. In the meantime, we're just going to be sitting here waiting on our table. We'll see you all next week. Have a fine day.
Waiting on our table, the step is done and we had some fun. Now we're waiting on our table. Join us next time, we're stuck in line. Waiting on our table, we're so hungry, tummy's grumbling. Waiting on our table, we gotta continue our search for mediocrity. Yeah. Waiting on our table, we'll be waiting, anticipating and waiting on our table. This ain't the end, next week we're digging in, 'cause we're waiting on our table. Got an appetite, but just sit tight, 'cause we're waiting on our table. Search will continue when we see you next week. But until then, we're just waiting on our table.
Have a fine day.